Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today it's another episode with Collecting with Matthew, a series where I, Matthew, who has 8 years of experience with collecting action figures, will teach you tips, advice, and tricks on collecting your favorite action figure lines. This episode we're going to be doing a bit of a guide on King Kong figures. Now let me just say, in terms of King Kong figures, it's always been a mixed bag. But we're going to be primarily talking about modern day King Kong figures. Not any of the Trendmasters scrapped ones. We're not talking about any of the old Bandai Vinyl 62 King Kong. We're not talking about the old Peter Jackson Playmates King Kong figures either. We're strictly talking about 2023 readily available King Kong action figures that are either still being produced or readily available. That being said, we have a few brands to check out, so let's go ahead and talk about them. When it comes to King Kong figures, there is no shortage of them. From left to right, we have a few examples. The Playmates King Kong with Battle Axe from Godzilla vs. Kong, the NECA King Kong, their own unique style version, and the Mezco King Kong of Skull Island, based on the novel of the same name. That all being said, these figures are vastly different from each other. I would say these two are pretty similar, but for the meat and gravy for this video, it's all very different. So let's go ahead through it. The Playmates line of figures. Playmates has been producing King Kong figures for years, like even down to the 2005 movie, as I previously just mentioned. But what makes Playmates so different in comparison to the other companies is that they're mainly a kids targeted brand. That means that they will literally do anything to capture kids' attention. These things come in a whole different whack of styles. There's this one, which is standard. An interesting gimmick that all the 6-inch figures have is that they come with a sheet of battle damage on their bicep, as you can see right there. They also, before this figure, they released a Kong Skull Island figure, which was just a basic Kong 2017 figure with minimal articulation. But later went back and released a new one with accessories and with battle damage, which I honestly just say get that one. But they also released Kong with Fighter Jet, a Hong Kong Battle Kong, an Antarctic Kong, and two set exclusives, one in the city and one in the Hollow Earth, both with unique paint applications, which I think they honestly look really great. In terms of the other type of Kongs, they've also got the big giant Kong from 2017 and 2021. Those ones are much bigger. They're not as detailed. Well, they're way more detailed actually. They're less painted and they also have less articulation, but they're like double the size, which I think honestly makes up for it. They've also got the mini figures, which is actually two sets of minifigures. One that can move, one that's just like static little tiny Kong. You might have seen it in my videos before. And I think definitely the oddest one, the Titan Tech Kong, which can actually transform. You can open up, you can kind of open up the little antennas, close back up, give him like armor and everything. It looks really goofy. So if you like those sort of experimental type of Kongs, go with that one. Or maybe just the overall Playmates line. There's a lot to choose from, and they're readily available. Walmart, Targets, Toys R Us's if you still have them in your country. I think they still have those. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's mainly like my recommendation. Next up, NECA King Kong. This is definitely more for the adult collectors in the world. So honestly, there's really four options you can choose from. There's this, the poster version, which is actually not the 1933 poster, but actually black and white, a multicolored poster, which was actually based on the famous Monsters of Filmland magazine cover. Very interesting choice. There was the Concrete Jungle version and the Skull Island version that comes with like various creatures. Do take note that the Concrete Jungle version and the Skull Island version are the same figure, they just come with different accessories. The hands and faces, they're the exact same, bodies is the exact same. They only really come with different accessories and different labels. So that could be a bit of a hazard to some, but as for this figure alone, the original, both him and the poster version would come with this head, which this is not the default head. The actual head is like grabbing my alternate one off the shelf. It's actually opening it up. The classic 1933 head with that, and plus a few other hands. You can swap them out for fists, and it looks really great. However, I think the main selling point is not just necessarily the sculpted details in the paint, but actually its articulation. Of the three figures here, this one's definitely the most posable, having hinged elbows, hinged wrists, clicky clack joints on the obviously the hips. I know they're called ratchet joints. I just like saying clicky clacky. And yeah, it's definitely the most, I think, appealed figure for the bunch. And finally, the last figure we're going to take a look at is the Mezco figure, which I would say of all the figures here, in terms of accessories, this one's definitely the most bang for your buck. This one's a bit pricier. If you're wondering about prices, it's $10, $20, about $30, $40. So definitely a bit more expensive, but really worth it. It's definitely the heaviest here, and it's got not as much posability, but definitely similar in terms of range to the NECA figure. That is until we get to the hips, which they don't. It's not even a comparison. But it's definitely the most stylized version of Kong, because Kong is public domain, so they definitely took advantage of it. Then again, this exists because King Kong is public domain, so like that's NECA's OG do not steal type version. This one's like based on a book called Kong King of Skull Island, and it basically comes with a bunch of accessories: alternate hands, alternate heads, chain shackles, and even a little Andaro figure for him to hold. Which of all three Kongs, that is very low, you know. Like, we're talking about a figure. No, actually, no. Scratch that. A character that is known for picking up a woman and climbing up the building, and only one of the figures comes with that? Come on. But yeah, with that being said, at least him in his movie, he never picked up a woman. He killed a woman right in his hand, and the whole team, but that's besides the point. But anyways, I hope that this can at least give you like a good little exclamation. This one is a solo release. However, he has two other versions. A black and white previews exclusive version to Entertainment Earth, I believe. I don't think it's Entertainment Earth. Might be, actually. And a giant size version, 18-inch. It's definitely, again, limited appeal. I don't know how big that appeal is going to be. But again, your mileage may vary. But that all being said, there's something to love for everyone. If you like something cheap, affordable, even though he's affordable, and just something you can just pick up, maybe for a kid or something, get this one. Or any of his other counterparts. If you want something for yourself, something a little bit more articulated and flexible, go for him. If you want some accessories, cool accessories, go with him. Not saying that these two have any bad accessories, it's just he has the most bang for your buck accessories. So, to recap, this one's good for kids, this one's good for articulation, this one's most bang for your buck. That being said, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Jesus loves you, God bless you all. Go out there and spread the gospel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.